Audiobook Creation Exchange really wants you to get more book reviews, and it's further proof in the fact that they've actually ironed out their system for your promo codes. Not sure what I'm talking about? Well, make sure that you stay tuned. This is Self-Publishing with Dale, and if you want to learn more about how to publish books that sell and build an unstoppable author brand, make sure that you subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss a single video. Have you published any audiobooks? If so, what have your results been and what do you think of it so far? If you haven't, I definitely would love to know what is holding you back. Stick around to the end because there's some very pertinent information when it comes to the ACX promo codes because some of them can't be used. But first, a review of ACX, also known as Audiobook Creation Exchange. You've heard me long touting about how awesome ACX is. It has distribution in areas such as US, UK, Canada, Ireland, Australia, Japan, and it is really starting to expand. And I would just be insane not to tell you that ACX is an awesome opportunity. I've even shared a little bit more of my candid thoughts inside a video. I'm going to drop that in the description down below. So what is the deal with the ACX promotional codes anyways? ACX says promo codes are available for titles with exclusive distribution to Audible, Amazon, and iTunes. It will take up to 1 hour from the time they are generated on ACX to be redeemable on Audible. Essentially, it works in that you get some codes that you provide to potential listeners. They go and redeem those, grab your title, and they consume the content with the hopes that they will leave an honest review on your audiobook over on Audible. But how do you use the promo codes? Well, if you've got an email newsletter, any type of following, friends and family, any kind of business associates, these promo codes can be handed out to any of them. In fact, there are even some platforms such as Audiobook Boom that I've found pretty beneficial in actually dispensing some of my promotional codes. If you'd like free swipe copy on how to actually distribute the promotional codes to people, head on over to the DIY Publishing course for beginners at diypublishing.biz/free to get free access to my course today. Now, back to the way it was, because believe it or not, ACX had a different system for the promotional codes, and if you didn't hear more recently, they actually kind of shifted that. So let's discuss, how was it? Well, much like they have it today, you are allowed up to 25 promotional codes in the US and UK only. I know, sadly, it doesn't cover any of the other regions yet. And much like mentioned before, the distribution is for the intent of getting reviews on your audiobook. Sure, the royalty structure is not the greatest at, say, 40% for exclusive distribution on the ACX platform, but they do make up for it through these promotional codes. The problem they had before was they automated the process, and they actually used to send out the 25 promotional codes when your book was done with production. So you would upload your book, and it would go through a processing, and they would approve it and say, hey, it's all set, and then shortly after, you'd get your 25 promotional codes. They essentially used to give you the 25 US codes, and then you actually had to go in and ask for the UK codes. Then later on, you just had to request for both of them, which kind of just seemed a little bit, I don't know, wonky. I would think that they would have had it ironed out. And if you were too late to request, that means your production was already up on the marketplace and you wanted the codes, but you didn't think about it until about a few months afterwards. I ran into some issues where I would, oh shoot, I forgot those codes, and I would put in a request, and then there was a pushback. ACX was like, no, we already gave you. That was the thing. It was kind of frustrating because it wasn't automated. They expected you to request those codes, and when you didn't do it on time, you got pushback. And then there was just the whole hassle of tracking all the codes, because let's face it, you can give somebody a free promotional code, and they'll say, oh yeah, I'm interested in your audiobook, and they don't ever use the code. They never redeem it, and here there's this perfectly good promotional code that somebody else could possibly get and use and possibly drop a review on your book. So that whole system was just frustrating and just trying to track those things down. Now it's a lot different. The way it is now is it's available in the sales dashboard underneath the promo codes tab. And you're allowed up to 25 codes per US and UK. Again, we don't have the extra distribution out in the other ones yet. Do I anticipate them doing something like that later? Possibly. Did they tell me any of that? No. So again, it's speculation. You're allowed up to 100 total codes per title, and you can ask for more codes after 10 codes have been redeemed on a particular title. And here's where it gets really cool, because you can actually track the codes that were generated, redeemed by the listener, and available for distribution. So you can track whether or not a listener actually redeemed your code or not. So that's kind of nice. So that way, if someone's sitting on theirs, you can either A, say, hey, do you plan on using that? Or B, you can also just tell them, hey, look, this is set to expire on X date. And in that event, you just revoke the access from them and just get a different code. So here's the big heads up, okay? Got to pay really close attention on these two items when it comes to the ACX promotional codes. Old generated codes that you got previous to May 7th of 2019 are going to expire by November 7th of 2019. So if you're like me and you're sitting on tons of generated ACX codes, they're set to expire by November 7th. So you need to kind of move those, get those out of your old property. Maybe you have it over inside your Gmail or somewhere else. Just get them going, get them into somebody's hands like yesterday. And then that way you can start utilizing the new platform. Number 2 is the most important one. Pay closest attention to this. If you had any UK generated codes prior to the date I mentioned, they are null and void. That means you need to start using the UK generated promotional codes in your dashboard. The old ones are no longer good. Something happened that it became all wonky, that I guess that they had to kill all those previous generated codes for the UK. If all of this is Greek to you, that's okay. I've actually put an entire video about Audiobook Creation Exchange where I talk about the pros and cons and some of the features that are available to it. And you'll see why I'm so enthusiastic and going bullish when it comes to audiobooks to the ACX platform. Go ahead and take a look at it down over here, and I'll see you then.